Let's be honest, women can tell instantly when a man is in control of himself, and when he's not. They feel it. They respond to it. So if you're tired of being overlooked, disrespected, or emotionally tossed around, here's the truth. You don't need to control her. You need to master yourself. The men who women respect, admire, and chase all share one thing in common. They radiate personal power. Not because they force it, but because they live it. Here's how you build that power, from the inside out. A man's ability to control his emotional state is one of the most powerful traits he can develop. In a world where many men are ruled by impulse, fear, or insecurity, the man who remains composed stands out immediately. When you don't get easily rattled by a slow reply, a woman pulling away, or even outright rejection, you communicate something far deeper than confidence. You show emotional mastery, and that's rare. Women are intuitive. They pick up on energy faster than they process logic. If your mood swings depending on how much attention you get from her, she'll feel it. If you become anxious, needy, or reactive, she may not say it out loud, but a part of her will instinctively lose trust and attraction. Why? Because instability makes her feel like she has to lead emotionally, and that's not a dynamic that fosters desire. But when you're grounded, when you maintain a sense of calm regardless of what's happening, you become magnetic. Your presence feels safe and strong. You stop overthinking what to text, how to act, or whether you're doing it right. You just are. You trust yourself, and that inner trust radiates. This doesn't mean you never feel emotion. It means you don't let emotion drive your behavior. You pause, you breathe, you choose your response, rather than reacting from fear or ego. That level of self-control builds self-respect, and in turn, it earns the respect of others. When you become emotionally steady, you become a man people want to be around. A woman will start to lean into your energy, not pull away from it. Because, deep down, every woman wants to feel something she can't easily shake. Stability with depth. And that starts with your ability to lead yourself, especially when emotions run high. A man becomes truly powerful and attractive when his life is driven by a mission that's bigger than any one person, including a woman. When you are building something, whether it's a business, a creative pursuit, a career, or even mastering your own discipline, you naturally shift your focus away from needing constant attention or validation. That shift is magnetic. Women notice when you are not constantly chasing them, because it means you already have something that gives your life purpose, and that purpose gives you presence. Too many men fall into the trap of revolving their lives around a woman. They drop their goals, they stop challenging themselves, and they trade their edge for comfort or attention. What they don't realize is that this slowly drains their value. A woman doesn't want to be your entire world. She wants to be inspired by the world you're already building. When you make her your only focus, the dynamic becomes unbalanced. But when you stay committed to your mission, she respects you more for it. Your purpose should come first. Not because you don't care about connection, but because your mission defines your character. It gives you structure, direction, and momentum. And when a woman sees you moving with intent, with goals, with vision, she feels your drive. She knows you're going somewhere, and she wants to be part of that journey. That's a different level of attraction. It's not about looks or charm. It's about gravity. The moment you stop needing a woman to give you meaning and start becoming a man of purpose, you take your power back. You lead your own story. And instead of trying to be enough for her, you focus on being fully aligned with yourself. That's the man she won't want to lose. A man who lets his actions speak louder than his words earns far more respect than one who constantly talks about what he wants, feels, or deserves. In the world of dating and relationships, talk is cheap. Women are used to hearing promises, flattery, and emotional pleas from men trying to gain their approval. What cuts through all that noise is action, clear, consistent behavior that reflects inner strength, boundaries, and self-respect. When you stop over-explaining yourself or trying to convince a woman of your value and instead simply live your standards, everything changes. If she's late, you don't give a lecture, you don't wait. If she crosses a line, you don't raise your voice, you raise your standards, quietly and firmly. That approach signals power, not passivity. You don't try to win her over. You show her what kind of man you are, and she either aligns with that or removes herself. Either way, your value remains intact. Women are deeply responsive to behavior. You can say you're confident, but if your actions are rooted in fear or approval seeking, she'll feel the disconnect. But when you move with calm certainty, whether that means ending a conversation, walking away from a disrespectful moment, or simply not reacting emotionally, she'll feel your strength without needing an explanation. Begging, over-texting, arguing for your worth. These are all signs of insecurity, not power, and they push her away. But when your presence shows you are a man who leads, a man who doesn't tolerate games, a man who lives with integrity, you naturally command her respect. And that respect builds attraction far more than any words ever could. When you live by example, rather than persuasion, you shift the entire dynamic. You stop chasing, you become the man she doesn't want to lose. Because your energy tells her, you don't need her, you choose her. In the early stages of attraction, mystery is one of the most powerful forces you can use to your advantage. When you reveal everything about yourself too soon, your feelings, your insecurities, your intentions, you take away the intrigue. Women are emotional explorers. They're drawn to depth, complexity, and the challenge of figuring someone out. If you make it too easy, there's no tension, no curiosity, no emotional investment. But when you remain just out of reach, when you share pieces of yourself slowly and deliberately, you invite her into an experience rather than hand her all the answers. Mystery isn't about being distant or playing games. It's about letting her feel something gradually. You don't rush to explain your past or validate yourself. You don't over-communicate your every move. Instead, you allow your presence, your silence, and your decisions to create questions in her mind. Who is this man? What drives him? Why doesn't he seem desperate for my attention? That curiosity becomes emotional gravity. It pulls her in. When a man holds back some of his inner world, not in a cold or evasive way, but with calm confidence, he builds emotional tension. And tension is the spark behind attraction. She leans in more. She wants to earn your attention. She wants to see more of what's beneath the surface. You give her something to chase. This isn't about being aloof or closed off. It's about pacing the emotional connection, revealing yourself over time, not all at once. That patience shows control and self-worth, and women respect and respond to that. When a man isn't eager to be known by everyone, he becomes more valuable, because people instinctively want what they can't fully grasp, and the man who understands the power of mystery becomes unforgettable. One of the most powerful positions a man can hold in any relationship is the willingness to walk away rather than compromise his identity. This doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It means knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not tolerate. When a man prioritizes his self-respect over keeping someone in his life, he becomes unshakable. And that kind of certainty commands both respect and attraction. Many men lose their edge the moment they become afraid of losing a woman. That fear leads to tolerating disrespect, chasing validation, and sacrificing their own values just to keep her around. But the truth is, when you betray yourself to please someone else, you lose the very thing that made you attractive in the first place. You lose your power. And she feels that loss instantly. A man who is willing to walk away sends a powerful signal. I want you, but I don't need you. That difference is everything. Wanting someone comes from a place of abundance, where your life is already full and meaningful. Needing someone comes from lack, and it creates pressure, insecurity, and emotional dependence. Women instinctively test to see which one you operate from. When they sense you're afraid of losing them, the dynamic shifts. You start chasing. They start pulling away. But when you hold firm, when you calmly say no to what doesn't feel right, when you choose your peace over chaos, and when you refuse to accept less than you deserve, you earn something rare, her admiration. She may not always agree with you, but she will respect the fact that you respect yourself. And that kind of strength doesn't just attract women, it inspires them to rise to your level. Because in the end, it's not about controlling her. It's about never losing control of you. You don't gain power over a woman by manipulating her. You gain influence with women by becoming a man they respect, desire, and admire. When you stop chasing power over others and focus on building power within yourself, everything changes. You stop trying to be chosen because you've already chosen who you are, and that's the man she'll never forget.